Today we're talking weekly spreads. In general, in bullet journaling, weekly spreads are the spreads used to plan your week. Pretty simple, but it can be definitely customized in many different ways. However, today I want to talk about 5 simple weekly spread layouts that I most frequently use in my own bullet journal and that as a beginner you can take inspiration from. There will be chapters down below for you guys, but let's just get right into it. So I'm actually going to be using my old bullet journals from 2021. This one I used for the first 6 months and then the blue one I used for the second 6 months. Why we're doing a throwback? I don't know. I love these journals. There was a lot of creativity this year and I just think that these setups were really fun. So the first type of weekly spread I want to talk about today is a vertical layout. Okay, here is a great example. So a vertical layout to me is the boxes in the weekly spreads themselves are vertical. As you can see, there are horizontal lines here, but every day is a vertical column. Like the first is this column, the second is this column, the third, etc. And for this particular week, I only did 5 days. Now, one thing that's special about this particular weekly spread is I actually did some time blocking here on the left. These are the hours, and they're actually right here too. These are the hours. So at the top, I'd put the main events, and at the bottom, I would just time block my day. And it mostly varied after school because in this year I was in high school, so I have different things happening after school every single day. To be honest, I do not time block anymore. I have really not tried it very often, so I can't say I'm a complete anti-time blocking person, but overall the main point of this spread is that they are vertical, and since there is more space vertically, you can have space for time blocking. Okay, now I'm going to flip to March. So here is a weekly spread in March that's very similar. As you can see, each box is vertical, and that's what makes this a vertical layout. For all of these different weekly spreads, you'll notice that there is a lot of variation in ways that you can take the basic model. So we talked about, obviously you can time block, but one negative about the vertical is, like, horizontally there's obviously less room because the columns are very skinny, and so if you have wide handwriting or if you just don't write very small, you may take up multiple lines to write one task, and therefore it may not be as effective use of the exact same space. It depends honestly what you need. As you can see here, Sunday was a very busy day for me, so I had a lot going on compared to other days in the week, but it all depends on your preference. Okay, I'm gonna come back to this journal. Let's pull out this one and talk about horizontal bullet journal layouts. So I'm going to flip to October. Okay, so here's an example of a horizontal layout, and I'm pretty sure it's very obvious to you guys what the difference is. Here you can see that the boxes themselves are horizontal, and so that's what makes this the opposite of vertical layouts. Now for me, this one is something I don't use as often just because usually this doesn't leave much room for much else. As you can see, because I took up so much space for the 7 days of the week, there is no room for anything except for a title October, but that could be adjusted depending on how much space you need for every day. Another thing is because it's a shorter box vertically and wider horizontally, you may need to use 2 columns because I can only fit a very small amount of to-do lists here, and so I might need to start a second column like I did here to add more tasks. However, if you're like me, on Friday I put the current events assignment due and it took up almost the entire box this way, so there's not much space on the side for a second column of tasks. So again, it depends on your handwriting and the way you write and how much you actually put into your bullet journal, but this is a fun layout and just like something new, you know? Okay, I'm gonna go back in time to August 20th. Here we go. So this is another version of the horizontal weekly spread. As you can see, I actually wrote everything this way. So in some cases, you might be able to call this a vertical weekly spread because I technically treated each box as a vertical weekly spread and I held my journal sideways. However, you could still also keep the exact same layout like this and just rotate your writing this way so you can write this way instead. It all depends. This one you can see that I did 7 days of the week, but I also had one box for notes down here, so it gave me room for just overall to-dos. I frequently like to do that in my weekly spreads where I have a notes or to-do box because there are a lot of times I have things that I need to do during a week, but I don't have a specific day to put it in, so having a notes or to-do box makes things super helpful. My August theme in 2021 was one of my favorite themes of, like, honestly all time. It was just super fun and colorful, and all the spreads in this setup, I love how they turned out. Okay, now we're gonna go back to this journal. We're just gonna go back and forth today. And let's talk about the next method of weekly spreads, which is 8-box. These are all names that I made up, by the way. I don't know if you Google 8-box, it will actually show you what I'm talking about, but this is just the way that I like to categorize these weekly spreads. Okay, here is March. So as you can see, there are 8 boxes here. And honestly, there were 8 boxes in the other 2 as well. And there probably will be if you do 7 days of the week in a notes box. 7 plus 1 is 8. Common sense. But I just call this an 8 box because it just looks like an 8 box. There are, you know, 2 rows of 4, and that's what makes it different from the horizontal and vertical weekly spreads. Is technically it is a vertical one, but there's just 2 layers, which makes it a box of, you know, 8. It's not really important. The only thing different here is that instead of having 4 vertical boxes or 4 horizontal, they're in a little cube shape here. And this is one of my most common layouts ever because it's just super easy. There is so much decoration and extra detailing on the spread, like the butterflies, the eucalyptus, the green coloring, the little dots that I did on the end of these lines. But being so for real, if you wanted to just do one big line and one big line there and make 2 like crosses or X's in the middle of the spread, and then just use the space in between those lines to write your to-do lists, feel free to do that. Literally nothing is requiring you guys to be as extra or artistic in your bullet journal as I happen to be. What's great about this weekly spread is it kind of combines the issue with spacing in the other 2 spreads, because I feel like there's enough space horizontally to finish a full to-do list. As you can see, most of these are only taking up 1 line, but there's also a lot of vertical space to write a lot of to-do lists. Like on Friday, I obviously had a very busy day today, so I took up all of this space for all of my to-dos. Okay, now we're gonna flip to June. Here is another example. So as you can see, I kind of shortened it and only the bottom section of the spread has the 8 box, but it's the exact same layout. I just have a little June week or weekly, whatever, title at the top. But like I said, for the past one, all I did was do these little crosses at the bottom and then add more decoration like the calligraphy and the colored stripes. But being so real, this weekly spread probably took me like 10, max 15 minutes, like super simple and easy. It doesn't have to be like super time consuming to make these spreads, but I just think it's the best of both worlds, and this is one of my absolute go-tos. Okay, now let's flip back to the beginning for the next type of weekly spreads, which is modular weekly spreads. And this is a weekly spread type that I use frequently, but also requires a little bit more thinking. And you'll also see this happen more often with scrapbook spreads. So let me explain. Modular weekly spreads are weekly spreads, in my opinion, that are just like modular. Like this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and weekend. So there's no like specific like in a line or in boxes. They're just kind of randomized throughout the page wherever I had space. There's also a section for my next week section, a quote, current reads, a title, and then also scrapbooking all around. So this is a very busy weekly spread. And as you can see, that left very little space for my actual to-do list, because if you look really close, this right here is the only space I had for writing to-do lists for Monday. I mean, I had MLK up here, but it's just a very small section. So it depends on how you lay it out. This is one that you can have a lot more creative freedom with, because you can literally put the days wherever and fill up the empty space around it with whatever, but you can give yourself as much or as little space as you need. The reason that I say I use this weekly spread format a lot with scrapbooking pages is because usually with scrapbooking, like up here, it takes irregular shapes whenever you lay ephemera and stickers on top of each other, like down here as well. It's just like an irregular shape. And so rather than keeping boxes and like rigid boxes for every day, sometimes there's no room for that. And so instead, if you're going to use a sticker layering stationery kind of theme, just dividing whatever space you have left into 7 or 8 boxes may be an easier way than trying to measure out perfect boxes of 6 by 10 or whatever sizing it is for all of these. Okay, I'm gonna flip to April for one more example. So here is April. This is a spread that I actually made in a YouTube video. And as you can see, it's very similar. So there's space for each day of the week. And these are a little bit more rigid in that you can see kind of a distinction between the days that you couldn't before. However, there's still a lot more like variety in this spread. There are not any specific charts or tables. It's still kind of all over the place. And it leaves room for some scrapbooking down here, a little artwork, some playlist boxes up here, and again, some more layering, stuff like that. I even left room for a to-do list box and just random stickers and stuff throughout the page. This one is something that I think is very achievable, and again, it leaves a lot of room for interpretation and personal tweaks and editing whatever the general layout is to fit your own bullet journal. Okay, lastly, let's go back to my blue journal for the last type of weekly spread, which is the rolling weekly. Now, people talk about the rolling weekly all the time, and it can mean 2 different things to different people. My version of the rolling weekly looks like this. So basically what it is a 2-part weekly. So on one side, you have a bar that has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then this is where you can list any to-dos for the week. And so basically the first one was a current events paper, next was a history chapter. So these are mostly like school assignments. And what I would do is I would draw a little dot under the day that it applies to, and I would fill in the dot once it's completed. However, the concept of the rolling weekly is purposely made to adapt to schedules that are always changing and adapting. So if I wanted to move, for example, reading The Crucible Act 4, if I couldn't do it on Monday and I wanted to move it to Tuesday, all I would have to do is draw another dot right here instead of Monday, and it's very easy to just move the dot along the line rather than having to move a to-do list from one of these boxes, if that makes sense. It's much more easy to change your schedule in a very small space. Speaking of these boxes on the side though, these boxes hold events and things that are for sure going to happen on each day. Like for example, I have school, I have a calc test, I have guard practice. Those things can't be changed and move around because those are set in stone. And so having them on this side makes this more of like an events page, and this is more of the to-do list page, if that makes sense. Now, people also make rolling weeklies, and they define that as weeklies that they make as time goes on. So basically, when they make a weekly spread, on Monday, they'll only make their Monday box and they'll write it down. So like, let's just say for this page, on Monday, they would only make this, and then on Tuesday, they would only make this. And so the rolling weekly means that you make your weekly as the week goes on, instead of making it all at once and planning all at once. I've done this a couple times before my bullet journal. Personally, I prefer having the week plan ahead just so I can see an overview of the week on Sunday night rather than doing it as the week goes on. It just makes me feel more organized in my head. So that's why my version of the rolling weekly looks like this, but you may see people do it differently. Either way, it's up to you, once again. Okay, let's go back to July for one more example. So here is another example, very, very similar. As you can see, I had my list of tasks over here. I didn't draw the lines for this one, but the same system applies where I drew a dot under what day it applied to. Apparently I had a lot of stuff I need to do on that Monday. Unfortunately here, the drawing got in the way. So this was not a very smart move on my part because these dots obviously have no correlation to these because the days stop here and then these dots are randomly over here. But whatever, don't even, just ignore that. The point is that they're technically still supposed to line up under these days of the week. And then on the right, I have, again, space for every day, but in this case, I just did them in a horizontal format. And this one is a horizontal all on one page. So as you can see, they are very, very, very skinny boxes all the way up because I had to fit 7 horizontal boxes in just one page. But I could do that because all I had over here were events. On the left, I had tasks and to-do lists. So technically, I didn't need that much space on this side because there were only a couple things I was writing down event-wise every day. Okay, a lot of information, but I hope you guys got some ideas. Feel free to screenshot any of these spreads, and if you post any of these spreads that you recreate or just take inspiration from, definitely tag me on Instagram. I have all my socials linked down below, and I would love to see your creations. I'll put them on my story and promote you. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe because I post bullet journaling videos every single week. I would love to see you next week. I'm posting my April plan with me, and I'm super excited about it. So come back next week. I love you guys so, so much, and I will see you later.